Hello YouTube, it's Dragon Turtle with the Raid Shadow Legends video. My son and I are here to give you the fusion strategy for Gretel. Alright, this only applies to free to play or low spin, because if you're struggling to do fusions on a paid account, I'm sorry, but you need a financial strategy, not a raid strategy. Alright, this is a classic fusion, meaning you have to level up and fuse 16 rares into 4 epics into 1 legendary. Alright, there are no extra rares, but there is an extra epic down here in the Summon Rush. I advise any account that has stacked up sacreds to go ahead and get the epic. It is going to save you these last 4 events, and you'll have extra chances at pulling legendaries that you might need. Right now, Dungeon Divers, Champion Chase, Ice Golem, and Champion Training are active. We have those up here. All 4 of these are active at the same time. The best way to do this is to solo Ice Golem 20 with food champions. That's going to give strong points in 3 of 4 of these active events. Try not to use energy reserves like gems and pots, and I'll explain why a bit later. If you can't solo stage 20, I recommend soloing stage 3. The reason why is because that is the highest points per energy for Dungeon Divers. Yes, that does mean you will get much less points for the tournament, but tournaments are typically a lot easier to complete than the Dungeon Divers, and you have this extra day here for the tournament. Alright, you won't get any usable gear, but you'll make some good silver. Alright, after Dungeon Divers is complete, your tournament will most likely be either complete or close to it, because tournaments are generally a lot easier than Dungeon Divers. Once you finish Dungeon Divers, you can finish the tournament in stage 20 or 16 if you can't reach it. Champ Training in 12-6 Brutal, or do 12-3 if you need more silver, because the shields sell for more silver. Artifact Enhancement is around the corner. If you're below 20 million silver, you might not want to sell any artifacts during the entire fusion function. During all of the events, you might not want to sell any artifacts, because when Artifact Enhancement starts, you can level up all those crappy pieces, all the crappy gear. You can level it up to level 4 and sell it. That way you can get silver and points for all of it. Champion Chase is pretty straightforward. You can use any fragment fusion or reward champs you have saved up. Ancient and mystery shards give the best bang for the buck. Of course, it depends on RNG, but the average I found on the internet is 95 ancients to complete this. It could be more, could be less. Again, that's an RNG thing. Then we come to Dungeon Divers and the Dragon Tournament at the same time. Alright, it's the same thing as Ice Golem. Soloing stage 20, if you can, is great. Stage 3 is also really nice for the Dungeon Divers event in particular. Why am I saying push solo here? Well, I'm saying to push solo because this is a classic fusion. You will need to level up the rares and the epics in order to finish it. This is a great opportunity to continue leveling up these rares you're collecting. If you're not worried about leveling up champs, then I would say go ahead and do any stage 20 plus. The higher you go, the less return in points per energy you're gonna get, but you also have the opportunity to get better gear. If you want usable gear but you can't hit stage 20 yet, of course do stage 16. Then next up we have Artifact Enhancement event number 2. If you're broke, I hope you haven't been selling any gear, because it's the same strategy. You can save that gear, level it up to 4, sell it during this Artifact Enhancement event, and you will get silver and points for that. If you have like 20 million silver, then feel free to find pieces in a set and go ahead and level them up. The reason I say find pieces in a set and level them up is because we usually gear champions, especially late mid game to late game to end game to the infinite game. We usually equip champs in sets. We don't normally do broken pieces. So you really want to level up gear in sets as well, so you have nice sets to put on your champions when it's time. Next up, we have the Fire Night Tournament with the Champion Training Tournament, and Dungeon Divers starts shortly after with a small delay. This is why you saved up all that reserve energy. This is the tough part. I don't know an easy way to do this one. The Fire Night, the Champ Training, and the Dungeon Divers. Fire Night is nearly impossible to solo. so you can't really do it the same way you do the other tournaments. As well as the low levels only gives you major points for dungeon divers. That's not really going to help you out for this tournament that starts first. It kills any incentive for you to do lower levels. The strategy I would say for the best points and gear is to do Fire Knight stage 20. If you can't do stage 20, go ahead and do stage 16. When you finish that tournament, then go ahead and do 12-6 brutal campaign for the champion training. If you want more silver, and the experience isn't huge to you, go ahead and do 12-3. This Dungeon Divers is a little tricky because it ends right when Spider starts, and it starts kind of in the middle of Fire Knight, so it's hard to take full advantage of this and triple or double dip. If you've already finished the Fire Knight tournament, you can do Dungeon Divers in any dungeon that you want to. You can do Fire Knight, Dragon, Ice Golem, or Spider. All of them work. Do stage 20 or maybe even higher if you're looking for the best gear sets or usable gear. But if you don't care about getting the gear, or if you're stressed on energy, you're really stretched, then go ahead and do stage 3. That's going to give you the best points to energy ratio once again for Dungeon Divers. Classic Arena again, there's no strategy here, guys, just do it. Classic Arena is simple and straightforward. So the last two events are the Artifact Enhancement event number 3 and the Spider Tournament. They're lumped together here. The Artifact Enhancement event number 3, there's nothing new. It is the same strategy, but this is the last event towards the end of the fusion, so a lot of people will be strapped for cash. They're not going to have a lot of resources to put into this. The good thing is it's happening at the same time as the Spider Tournament, meaning you can get a lot of silver by farming Spider accessories. They give you far more silver than your normal gear from dungeons. Now, Spider Tournament, there's one thing special about the Spider Tournament. Stage 10 gives you a ridiculous amount of tournament points for whatever reason. I think it's a bug that never got fixed or something, but the Spider Tournament is going to give you tons of points on stage 10. Now, the order of best to, or the top 3 levels to do are stage 20 is going to give you the most points, stage 24 is going to give you the second most, and then stage 10 is going to be in third place there. If you want the best possible gear, stage 24 would be the stage for that. If you want the highest amount of epic and legendary gear, I've heard stage 20 is the best for that, and that's going to be more efficient as far as just everything all around. And then stage 10 is going to give you the best points per energy if you cannot do those higher ones. Now, you're not going to get usable gear from doing stage 10, but you will make a ton of silver. Here's one final tip that I wanted to stress. Use champ training to level up fusion rares and epics. Guys, it's gonna suck if you get to the end and you can't finish. This game is not forgiving. You are going to be so angry if you get to the end and don't finish. Make sure you're using every opportunity to level up those champs. That's all I have for this fusion strategy. Please hit the like and subscribe down below for more content. Dragon Turtle out.